This is Otaku Station, broadcasting our analysis of Gundam Wing Episode 3. I don't think I called this out the first time we went through, but I love the line read on "In the name of justice and peace."
It really sounds like he's clenching his jaw, justice and peace. Like, oh, he's invested.
Yep. Yeah, we know the Alliance is not necessarily the good guys here.
You don't see the actual
Yeah.
bullet penetration.
Nope.
It just does that little light kind of thing,
Mhm.
and you only see that he's wounded later.
Yeah. I suspect that is sort of Japanese TV standards and practices.
Yeah, I'm going to guess.
Yeah.
And he totally failed the Matrix. He sees the bullet right there. I mean,
he should be able to just dodge it, right?
Yeah, just lead back, let it scoot by him.
I just realized I don't think we saw Treize at all last episode. Yeah. I want to call out the juxtaposition here of the high-tech laptop next to a bowl of flowers. I do think that does say something to Treize and his personality, of the elegance with the acceptance of technology.
Well, also, it's just an outdoor. You can see there's some vinage growing up along the side of the wall. It's the lawn does not look manicured.
True.
It's got little things here and there. And yet, he has the wonderful tablecloth.
Yeah.
Pristine white tablecloth. Like, okay. What shooting stance
I know.
is that?
No. I'm going to thrust my hips all the way out.
Yeah, I mean, usually you lean in to deal with the recoil. You know what I mean? This is extremely stylized, fancy looking.
It's after Colony 195. Things have evolved.
I guess.
It's written all over your face that I haven't looked at.
Yep.
And I don't know if that's just a figure of speech he's using, or if he's also just saying, "I know you that well." How does he know that?
Well, I mean, we know he was fiddling around the computer to reprogram the torpedoes.
True. Yeah.
We don't know how far he was looking around. I mean, odd to have looked up that kind of specific data, but
maybe he was briefed on it.
Could be.
Yeah. This is the PDF for a scanner.
Yeah.
It's just text
for
Photoshop. Yeah. What? How to attach like a scanner to your computer. I think Twain devices are typically scanners or similar things. So they just needed some English. They pasted it in there. 200 bruises or broken bones.
Kid's durable for that much damage.
Yeah. No kidding. There's undoubtedly a reason for this, and there is a reason for this. You know, in a cockpit full of screens, why do we need a printout? In fairness, we don't have tablets yet. Right? So this is presumably something that you have to carry around with you. You want to reference somewhere else, so you wouldn't just punch it up. It just does look anachronistic to us.
Well, we had the little view screen, but even it had a little bit like typing surface on it when they were talking while shooting.
And everything here's a CRT, so presumably even that screen had a big blocky, back. Yeah. So we've learned a few things already about Major Sally here. First is that she's not willing to go to extreme lengths to interrogate Hiro with the truth serum. Also that as soon as Relina is asked about him, she comes out to, find out what's going on, but also she kind of turns up the charm.
Yes.
It's tell me a little more about that handsome boy you brought in. She's clearly she realizes she's wearing a uniform, but she's trying to kind of break through a little bit there. And so it's an intriguing combination of features there.
Well, for having seen military personnel in this show that are really annoying or, just kind of gruff, it's interesting to see that it's like, okay, well, now you've played somebody who is capable of adjusting their personality to work the room.
Good point.
It's like, okay.
Yep.
You don't want to frighten her. You want to, feel like, oh, I'm just, I'm so helpful. Tell me about that
Mhm.
handsome boy.
Right.
Very conversant, very conversational, kind
Yeah.
of this.
It's not, how do you know him?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very disarming,
Hmm.
if you will.
Relina is lying.
Hmm.
Mhm.
There is nothing that has ever been ordinary about Hiro Yui in her experience. Also, I appreciate they're mirroring each other, right? They're
Yep.
both staring kind of down at the floor, and then when Relina looks, she looks. So that's kind of cool.
Have we had really lie yet?
Good question. I don't think so. I
So
can't
it's,
recall.
and I know it doesn't sound like the kindest compliment, but
Mm.
character growth.
Ah, yeah, you're right.
That you're
Mhm.
sort of encountering different things you've not encountered before. You're
Mm.
thinking through them, and you're figuring out there are times and places to lie.
Mm.
That's.
Yeah, good point.
Uh,
Yep.
but
Yes.
the class is true.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
Yep.
there's a
Hmm.
kernel of truth to that.
Yeah.
We're
Also,
such good friends that he pulled a gun on me.
That's a really good friend.
ah, you're real friends.
Friends? No, sorry.
uh, but also, Relina is very willing to reveal that, Vice Chancellor, Vice Chairman Dorland's daughter is involved in this. Which I don't know if she hasn't realized the implications of that. But she's almost. You wonder if that's her almost pulling rank of saying, "Yeah, I'm an
Yeah.
important
Right.
person." Who knows? Question. She yells his name. He pulls the ripcord. Connected. Right?
Yes, because otherwise the shoe would fly off.
Mhm.
Oh, sorry.
um, you know, we know what he was trying to do earlier. Would this be a convenient way to just be out of this? If, oh gosh, the parachute just didn't open.
Well, he
Who
did
knows?
announce
Yeah.
mission ended,
Yeah,
and
mission complete.
Yeah.
Hmm.
so is this a not so subtle hint that Hero he's willing to kill her,
Mm-hmm.
but he didn't pull the trigger before he got shot, so
True.
he I wouldn't say there was a huge hesitation,
Mm-hmm.
but
No.
we don't know what the ultimate end of that would have been if we had had another
Mm-hmm.
second or two.
Right.
Right.
Him pulling the chute after she screams his name, is he finally making enough of a connection with another person
Mm-hmm.
that gives him a reason now to pull the chute?
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's
That's.
like, if she said nothing,
Mm-hmm.
I think you're right. I think he would have just right to the tarmac.
Mm-hmm.
But she wants him to hear her.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, fine, pull chute.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I love the fact that there's no confirmation. It's just the timing is so perfect it makes you wonder.
yeah. All I can say is Lupin.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was
Great point.
the
Yeah.
lumping around the side. Like, really?
That was
Only
absolutely-
Lupin could survive that kind of physical abuse.
It's just 7 or 8 more of the 200 bruises.
Is this right?
Interesting hearing the spin that the media is putting on this, presumably at the
Yeah.
military's behest. But also the fact that they're sending mobile suits to oversee the factory because of an explosion.
That has no explanation.
Right. A factory exploded. So let's send in a bunch of tanks and fighter jets just in case.
Yeah. Now we start to get all the political threads
Right.
start to get sussed out. Okay.
Yep. So, again, Trey's commanded this elite squad, the specials, and he has all the backing of like royalty and the wealthy.
When they showed the initial specials thing, was it a flag like of Rome?
Oh,
SP?
oh
Would
yeah,
that be QR? Like
looks like it.
Like Rome?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but it occurred to me, like, huh.
Interesting, yeah. Does look like it. So that might explain why you got the reaction to Zex in episode 2. You know, when that commander realized he was dealing with, as he put it, I think, Trey's underling or something.
Yeah.
Not a lot of bad blood.
Doesn't that sound like the Mukden incident that kicked off the Japanese-Chinese war? Huh, those young officers who wanted to do things on their own. Oh.
So here we get some interesting lore. Gundams have been around, Mobile Suits have been around for a long time. And they used to be these kind of special units. And now a lot of them are just sitting in warehouses. What they're explaining here, a Gundam is attacking. These are specials going up against a Gundam. Yeah, it's going great.
What happened to Major Bonaparte? You're about to find out, children.
I'm realizing now how remarkable it is how often this show cuts between scenes. You know, most other shows would have let that action scene play out, right? Would have seen everything that happens. But we keep shifting gears to all these different things, even when we don't need to. And I think that is partly because, again, we have a lot of factions and characters to keep up with. But it's also getting us used to that we can shift around.
A lot of these sounds are cycled between shows. Because those noises are the same noises that Veritex make in Macross when they're firing their autocannons.
Yep.
And when they had the base alarm in the last episode, that was the same used when they're converting the SDF-1 into like robot mode kind of thing. So it's like, it's very interesting to see how the sound effects kind of make the rounds for different shows.
Yep, 100%. We saw the hail of bullets from Heavy Arms. We saw him run out, and we thought, oh no. But Contra is saying, no, that's not even what he's relying on. There's far more to him than meets the eye.
So every side has different opinions about things. Like, you guys are supposed to kind of sort of be together on this, and that's not quite working out right.
Nope. And we have the line that is required to be in every anime war show by law. We shouldn't be fighting at all. But notably, also, and I say that partly as a joke, but also, they're kicking in the theme song here. So this is a moment. Contra comes out, like, to your point, actually, because it's like, well, I'm out of my mobile suit. I can't really fight back now. Troa's coming out because this isn't the only mobile suit in the battle. There's a whole bunch of other mobile suits just arrayed behind
him. Yeah. He is trying to set a broken femur by hand.
Yeah, he just shifted his own bone back into place.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because he's been able to walk on this the whole time after, getting shot, falling out of a building, parachuting at the last second, rappelling unintentionally down a cliff, probably swimming to a boat. But now he has time to,
set his femur.
Okay,
sure. Without a traction device, he is not drawn muscly enough to have pulled that off.
Yeah.
But good on him.
Yeah.
I'd like to know his pain management strategies.
Well, and that's the other interesting thing here. Like, they could do this a couple different ways, but he's in pain, right? Like, he's not just sitting there and grimly doing this, like a Jesse Ventura movie, right? Like, it's just, this is horribly painful for him, but he does it anyway. I love this expression on Hiro's face, because there's a bit of a sense of it of, darn it, I'm still alive and I have to complete the mission. Right? Like, what he's been trying to do is eliminate himself in the mobile suit, and now that it's back, and now that he's here, I can't pretend it blew up anymore.
Well, for everybody else, they seem sort of focused on the mission, and it's like his willingness to throw himself away and to destroy the Gundam feels like it's hinting at everybody else was recruited to do the thing,
Mm.
and that is he coming from a place where I was just, like the opening scene where everything's on fire.
Mm.
I was just a kid. I was just, minding my own business, and I've been made to do this. So I'm not doing this for the, the greater good. I'm doing this because I was forced to. And if I die and that Gundam blows up, I'm not responsible anymore.
True.
I'm out of the loop.
Yeah.
But as long as that Gundam exists, I have to keep going. It's like, huh.
Yeah, could be.
Well, like I said, I think in episode 1, about, I guess, like a third to almost halfway through the series, he has an interesting way of doing therapy for himself, and on actually dealing with what he's done, up to that point. One of the things I want to mention about this particular show is that, except for the original Mobile Suit Gundam, you see a lot of Mobile Suit Gundam, or you see a lot of Gundam shows where the pilot is attached in some way, shape, or form to their Gundam, like when it's when it's specified to that person. Now, MSO8 team and stuff like that is different because it's just like it's a machine that they use to know how to operate. But these are particular Gundams that are made for something, or we get the guy who goes, it's almost like the kid with the joystick on the giant robot.
Yeah,
right? This is my thing and it's mine, and I covet it. Like in Pat Labor, you have Alphonse. And
right.
You're right. So here he's just looking at this, kind of to the point where he's looking at the Gundam, just going, I just can't be quit of you. He's just, like Brokeback Mountain, like he's just like, I love you, but I hate you at the same time. And to the point of of his mission, and whether or not he's there on purpose or if he volunteered or whatever. To me, when in the very first episode, when I watched this for the first time, and the first inkling that his mission was blown, that his cover was blown at the very beginning, that whole thing, he just decided that his mission was done. So there was probably an operational mission that he was supposed to have done, and I don't think we ever find out what that was.
Yeah.
And so ever since then, he's got a single track mind of just ending this and ending whatever it is that he's doing, and the reason why he's doing it. But yeah, it's just one of those things where it's just like he's a masochist. I mean, it's just like, there's always something. He's got that escape mechanism where, okay, I'm going to live. Relina calls out to him. Okay, I'm going to pull the cord. The thing didn't work, so I'm going to run off and live to fight another day. I've got a mission. My mission now is to stop the mission, to abort the mission, this stuff. And now he's just like, well, now I got to actually go do the thing.
Yeah.
And I just wanted ice cream. That's all I wanted.
Well, I want to return to your earlier point about the attachment to the mobile suit and how weird this is for any mecha series of having the main pilot kid boy thing hate his mobile suit, kind of.
Yeah.
Be the exact opposite, where he's trying to run away from this as much as possible. That's not a Gundam thing. It's not a Macross thing. It's not a shonen mecha thing at all. In original Macross, Hikaru doesn't want to pilot. He doesn't want to be a soldier, but he wants to pilot. He very much wants to be in a Veritech / Valkyrie. He enjoys that experience. So, but this is almost attempting to be the exact opposite of that.
Well, I'm only thinking about it more. You're pointing that out. He's not been in his ship, in his
yeah, it's true.
more than like landing.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like all we get is him coming down out of orbit, getting tangled up with it's not a Zaku, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And then the whole kit sinking and him washing up on shore.
Yeah.
Everybody else is using their Gundams to do various things. He's been on foot this whole time.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, okay, I'm used to Gundam being, more Gundam-y.
Right.
So protagonist Kun is in the Gundam doing the Gundam thing, and then periodically not in the Gundam. This is like almost all of him is not Gundam.
Yeah. He is kind of the shonen mecha main character.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, look at his face right now. He just reset a broken leg and all this stuff, and he sees this thing coming out. You can almost see the dark circles under his eyes,
Mm-hmm.
bags under his eyes, like he's just like, "Ugh, this again,"
Mm-hmm.
And it's just he's just had enough, and he's just done. And I wouldn't blame him 1 second if they decided to end the series right there. He's just like, "Nah, it's yours, Duo. Go ahead. I'm out. You're good to go."
What's also interesting is that he failed the mission. He needs to blow up Wing Gundam, and he needs to, end himself. And yet he joins school. He enrolls in that academy.
Right.
Now, you could argue it's because he needs to get close to Alina to kill her because she's seen him, right? And he's kind of following her for that reason. But like he's going to a lot of effort and engaging in various things. When he could be doing that from the shadows. Like he could just follow her around and you take a sniper rifle or something. But it's complicated motivations potentially, especially him being like 15. It's like how wise are your decisions at that point necessarily?
I feel like he's giving himself a bright slap every 5
minutes. Exactly.
Just to keep his motivation up.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was episode 3. We already talked about a lot of stuff at the very tail end there. How would you say these 3 episodes have laid the groundwork for a Gundam series, in the sense of, you get into a 50-episode series like this, you gotta establish a lot of things. Do you feel like you've been set up well for wherever this story is going, or do you still feel kind of lost in like all of the stuff that's been introduced?
I gotta say, from original Gundam to this, where we get to see, the kids are sort of together and you start to see some of their relationships and stuff, it feels like that's kind of been capitalized on more. Like I feel more dialed into Hero and like, I never remember her name. Relena. I mean, I feel more interested in that relationship, and thus it feels like, okay, did you shoot this idea out here to balance it so that you've got an audience that wants big robots fighting, that stuff knocking things down, blowing stuff up, but you also have an audience that you're like, we want to, cultivate that audience as well, that is more interested in not just the political machinations, but some, could be romantic connections.
Yeah.
And so that we're drawing from, several different fan bases to make it a little bit more across the spread. And it's like, it feels like this is more refined than like original Gundam had relationships. It had things going on there, but this feels like it's been worked more to sort of like make that kind of balance better.
Yeah. And I think make it more explicit, right? Where we're going to make these, the romance in Gundam is very much happening while everything else is happening. While it feels like this is more foregrounded. Yeah.
Right.
Well, for me, when I saw this for the first time on Adult Swim or Tuna, I forget which one it was, but anyway, you watch Gundam up to this point, and what you are seeing is a war story, and you're hit with the 2x4 war is bad consistently over and over and over again, and the relationships, John, like you were saying, is like they were just more muted, and they put the emphasis on the war because that's what was happening. It was a war. And of course, other things have to suffer because of that war. So, you don't get as much of those relationships. And Gundam Wing is totally different because you're talking about, okay, we're going to just change everything about Gundam, what you think about Gundam. All right. The Federation forces are out there trying to take over the sides, space colonies. And they're not necessarily, we actually have a sense of who's good and bad in this, right? Maybe not a generalized position, but certain organizations we recognize as, you guys are kind of sketchy.
Yeah.
And then then we have 5 Gundams. It's not the one, it's 5, right? So that means each one's a little bit different, a little bit interesting, and then you have, well, we're going to give you 5 different kinds of pilots, and none of them are like Amuro, in which they are necessarily on the spectrum, right. Okay, so we're seeing people with definite personalities and stuff like that. We got Katra here, who is empathetic to in what he's doing. Yeah. He's still killing people, but he's empathetic about it. So it's the
I'm
horror,
so sorry to kill.
I'm sorry,
yeah.
Which should make everyone a little worried for him.
Yes, right. And then you have Troa when he makes a point about Troa, which is, hey, this guy kind of knows what he's thinking and what he's doing. His the Gundam truly is just an extension of him. It's not, it's the other way around. You have Duo, who's basically comedic relief.
Yeah.
And which is fine because I always felt like that particular voice actor, I forget his name, who does Duo, does a good job in this series. And that's actually one of the reasons why I like the series, because he just pulls that character off very, very, very well. And then we have Hiro Yui, which is our main protagonist, and we're just like, what? Okay, we need the angsty boy who can do everything, right? And that's where we're going to have our relationship with Relena. We're going to have the school thing. We're going to bring in the school. We're going to bring in a Earth that is not shattered by war, and actually is relatively untouched by war. And that's kind of the whole point of why these Gundams come down. So you have this whole change. So like if you're like me, where you're like old school Gundam fans, and you see this, you're just like, oh, what is this? I don't. Oh, are they gonna fall in love? Is he gonna kill her? Or is he gonna kiss her? It's just like, what's gonna happen here?
Yeah, I love you to death. Oh,
Well, and to your point, Steve, about war, there's no explicit. There's an ongoing war of conquest, essentially, on the colonies. But on Earth, everything seems fine, right? Yeah. And so really this is a guerrilla war that we're seeing here that is perpetrated by the Gundams.
Yeah.
So it is such a different kind of conflict. Absolutely a war story, but motivated in an entirely different way. We haven't had 9 months of, traditional war in, leading up to this. And it creates this very different feel for the show.
Yeah, and as far as you can tell, it doesn't look exactly like there's been a colony drop. Right. So that most of the facilities and cities, but for the factories and stuff they're attacking, and but for some, incidents, everything's in pretty good shape. Everything's fine. The schools are operating. The road system works. Everything seems okay.
Which I think also gets to the Napoleonic feel of it, is this idea that we've had peace for so long that it's now this kind of decadent society, if you will. Perhaps decadent isn't the right word, but everyone's able to get along with things. Like there's none of the after effects of war that you'd normally see. Right. Yeah, interesting. People can be a little more flashy, if you will. But yeah, would you say, well, let me ask you this, John, where do you think the story is going from here?
I know where I would like it to go, where there's more school romance and more hero, being Relena's beau.
Actually, let me ask you that. What do you think is the arc of Relena and Hiro's relationship?
I have a feeling it's going to be dramatically different than Full Metal Panic. I don't think you're going to have the light bulb go off. I think I feel like Hiro's going to end up trying to be more protective of her, but it's not going to go into like full on, I'm going to give up the military and run away with you and live in the country house.
Yeah.
Like he's still going to have to be responsible for that Gundam, and there's expectations of him. you know what I mean? I don't know. It's going to come to a head. Like I
Yeah.
know that much. The series is going to progress forward to the point where the Earth forces are going to have to gang up on the Gundams.
Yeah.
But I don't know what that means. Does that mean
Mhm.
like the heroic last stand and the nobility of failure?
Mhm.
So the Gundams just all are backed up against the wall fighting, and then they all pop the explosion, and you lose everybody, and Relena is just like hero, and his Gundam explodes, and that's the point. Is like, oh, sacrifices have to be made, and this is you can be heroic, save others by your death. It's like, I don't know, but it feels kind of like that's going to be a bad way that's going to go. Because dropping from the colony as meteors, nobody said how they're supposed to get the Gundams back up
Right.
there.
Right.
True. Which made me think from the first time where it's like, are you on a one-way mission? Like, you cause all the damage, you do as much as you can do as far as the Gundams will take you. Yeah. And when they don't work anymore, you destroy the technology to make sure they can't capture you or the machine. Yeah. It's like,
they did not send senior officers here. They sent teenage boys.
So that's where my mind is kind of going. It's like, it's going to be the star-crossed lovers. They're just not going to quite pull it off. And then this, I hate to say suicide mission. This relatively hopelessly unrealistic mission isn't going to end well for everyone.
Yeah.
And that's kind of sad, because I have no doubt by the time you get to the full force of the episode, you understand the characters more. You start to feel how they're dealing with the mission. Hopefully learn what Hero's background to make him come down here. And then to lose that after learning it is kind of like, that would be sad. So
yeah, it's interesting. I can't think of another Gundam series where that would be the prediction after 3 episodes. All the Gundam pilots will blow themselves up at the ending. But I completely agree. Like, that is the tone of this series, is kind of tragedy all around. It feels like Blake 7, if anyone's familiar with that sci-fi series, where it's just got this very dark tone to it, where it's not necessarily that everyone's going to have a terrible experience, but that this is not on a positive trajectory.
Right.
Yeah. Well, one of the things we get with that, one of the things I enjoyed about this show was that we get a whole slew of secondary characters.
True.
Through the course of the show, and we see one of them today who has his own character design, has a very distinctive voice. It's the leader of the specials that Zex talks to, the one that Catra kills. And that's kind of the point, where it's just like, we're seeing a character who has a unique design to him, and we should probably, like Major Sally, we should probably see this person again in the future. I mean, right? Like you or at least he's going to last a number of episodes before he gets popped, right?
Yeah, but not half of one.
Not right, exactly. So when you have something like this, and you realize that there's an investment in this series, in the story that it's going to be telling, then that's I think what grabbed a lot of people when this came around into the United States, where it's just like it's kind of like Games of Thrones a while ago, where it's just like, I really like this character. Oh,
but there's this other character.
Oh,
yeah. That's why I stopped watching Agami Ga Kill.
Okay.
Yes.
Because it's the investment in the characters and the fact that they took the time and effort to develop them to a certain point, and then it elicits a very visceral response from you when you're like, oh, I kind of like that they're dead. That it's like, that was what Agami Ga Kill got me. I'm like, I really like that character, and now they're dead, and now no, I'm not good.
To that point, I think one of the things the show does very well is that in a lot of other series, you get characters who you like very well, and because they are innocent bystanders, you're like, oh, they'll be fine. No. And I think Gundam Wing does a good job of keeping those characters very much in the fray and is very much in danger. So it's less of a shock when it's a disappointment, but it's not a shock where it is. And there are other Gundam series where they kind of pull on those heartstrings more. Victory Gundam, and so it is. It doesn't. I think they manage it in a more easy to handle way in Gundam Wing than a lot of other shows.
One last thing about the Gundams themselves that I wanted to point out that I totally forgot about this in this episode. We get the sense of each one is special, and they have their own engineering designs, right?
Yeah.
So you have heavy arms here. But he has a definitive structure to him. His primary weapons and all that stuff. He does not have a beam weapon. He has an actual freaking machete that comes out, right? That Vulcan cannon can just slip off his arm. We take a look at Catra, and he seems to have a utilitarian Gundam that seems to can do a lot of things, and he has a unique weapon. But again, it's not a beam weapon. There's no beam cannon or anything like that. The most powerful one, the two most powerful ones, are the Death Side and the Gundam Wing. Gundam Wing Hero and Duo with the Side. And I'm leaving Wu Fei for last because it's interesting because Zex goes a point goes, oh, that one's a lot slower. It doesn't fly.
Yeah.
And that's an important statement to make because then you realize not all the Gundams are equal.
Yeah, true.
And so you're gonna realize that some of them are better than others in other capacities. Like if you have the Gundam, so if Wu Fei with that kind of weird arm thing, how well do you think that would happen against Gundam Wing? Here, this is kind of interesting with heavy arms and Catra's machine, where they kind of just face off a little bit, and you kind of can see that they have equality in basic power, and I think that's what influenced Catra to come out and go, oh, hey, we have the basic same design, or whatever, that kind of thing. So just it's just kind of interesting. So people can develop. I don't know if they intentionally made it to do this, but I'm Team Catra, I'm Team Hero, I'm Team Duo.
100%. And we should mention that Gundam Wing was very much designed with the female fan base in mind, to have a bunch of hot, cute guys, piloting. To your point, John. And so there is an aspect to there of, okay, who's your favorite, right? Like a boy band. Right. So I think that is very much something they're working on there, or they're
Which I would love to hear, somebody, because modeling world involves anybody. Men, women, children, little girls, little boys. I would love to hear if anybody, as a young woman, watched this and got on Team Hero, and then that got her to build Gunpla.
Oh, I'm sure.
And, you know what I mean? It's like, that would be a really cool story to say.
Yeah. Gundam Wing was very popular, and the Gunpla sold very well. So I'm absolutely sure that happened, that you saw all that going on.
Well, I know for Hobby Link, this is not a plug, it's an observation. The last thing I got from them was the Hobby Link store magazine.
Oh, cool.
So basically, staff went through and they talked about their favorite figures, their favorite other stuff. One of the staff picks for modeling was one of their women staff members. And what she liked about the model that she had chosen, and how she went about figuring out the paint schemes and how to match it up with the show that she liked it. And there you go. So for this, if it was equally popular with girls and boys, it's like, that's great.
Yep, 1,000%.
So this is the perfect date anime, I guess, is what
it could be. I mean, it offers a smattering of everything.
Yep. Homicidal guys and girls who run onto ships after homicidal guys, and
dangerous love.
Yes, exactly. Tall,
like vampires and werewolves, but without vampires and werewolves.
I mean, you say that, but isn't it kind of that, right? Like it's dangerous guys involved in dangerous things, and this girl gets swept into that. You know, there's certainly an aspect of that in this.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's thrilling.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So yeah, Twilight's basically Gundam Wing. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Any other final thoughts on Gundam Wing episodes 1 through 3?
Now, was the Wing the one that it was very popular?
Mm-hmm.
Did people's opinions of it change over time? What is the one that people talked about that was not as popular?
X.
G Gundam? Oh, X.
Yeah, which is the one that came out right after this one, if I recall correctly.
Okay.
If I recall, it was G Gundam, then Wing, then X, one right after the other. G Gundam was controversial because it was just so shonen-y shonen.
Yeah.
And a lot of hardcore fans just bounced off it really strongly, but yeah, same here. But folks who were new to the franchise really enjoyed it. It was kind of, this was their Gundam. This appealed to them. And
which I can understand. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And for what it's worth, I tried watching G Gundam twice and could not get into it. And on the third try, I watched it all the way through and loved every second of it. You just have to get into the mood of what it's trying to do.
Yeah.
And then Wing came along, and again, large female audience, but actually, to our point, so different in kind of tone and feel to original Gundam that a lot of, especially Universal Century fans, were like, this just isn't for me either. And then, unfortunately, X came along, and it was different in its own way, and there was just too much different to attract either of those crowds, and it just didn't really get much love at the time. But people have come around, I think, to those. G Gundam, Wing, and X are all more respected now than they were in the past. X in particular is now kind of what I see a lot as people going, X is secretly my favorite Gundam series, where it's not popular, but a lot of folks push for it and say, there's kind of a hidden gem kind of a feel for it.
It is definitely. I still never got into it, but I can again, like G Gundam, I can totally see why people would like it, and I can definitely see why people would be like, X Gundam, yeah, whatever. Oh, my precious DVD collection of X Gundam, my guilty little pleasure. I can totally understand that.
Yeah,
I can get that.
Yeah, Gundam Wing did not have those problems.
No.
Well, I certainly like the balance of Gundam Wing.
Yeah. Okay.
It feels more engaging to me. So,
okay. Cool. Yeah. Cool. Then that will do it for us thus far for Gundam Wing. Perhaps we'll come back to it. We'll see. But for now, that is one of the most popular Gundam series of all time. I've always been fascinated by the fact that Gundam Wing was very popular in both Japan and America and the West in general, but for very different reasons. In Japan, Gundam was changing up its formula. The stories had been set in the same Universal Century timeline for the past decade and a half, and now they were experimenting with new timelines, so that was exciting. And Gundam Wing combined, let's be honest, Bishonen pretty boys to bring in that female audience, which it certainly did, as well as keeping a lot of high-octane action for the boy market. And then its particular mix of elements does that alchemy worked over in Japan. So it was kind of an exciting time for the Gundam franchise particularly. In America, it was an exciting time for anime in general. Anime was really hitting its stride when Gundam Wing aired on TV in America. There was years now of anime releases. There were a number of anime companies in America. So fandom had reached critical mass. Toonami was now starting to really blow up on Cartoon Network and getting that big audience for anime. And this was the first Gundam series released in America, at least in a like TV broadcast way. This was something that like Toonami made a big deal of. They mentioned in their ads for Gundam Wing. And while Gundam had been heard about, it was certainly talked about somewhat in fandom. It was this kind of mythical thing that some people had come across, some people hadn't, and some people had found, you know, fan subs of. But there was this sense of, oh, we can now get into Gundam. We can now understand what this Gundam thing is now that Gundam Wing is coming to television. Of course, Gundam Wing is not very much like a lot of other Gundam series. It's its own unique thing. But I think that combination of anime becoming not mainstream, but a big fandom on its own in America, combined with Gundam now available in America, really helped to ramp up the hype levels for Gundam over here. And it was just kind of the right time and place for Gundam and Gundam Wing in America.